Hello everybody, welcome back to Brain Better. Today we're going to go over something called the zero position effect. We'll be covering what is the zero position effect and 5 ways we can apply it in our daily lives. Make sure to watch until the end of the video so that you can discover all the 5 ways you can use this effect to your advantage. Also, if you find this video value-adding, make sure to subscribe to our channel so that we can continue to provide more values to you through our videos. Now, let's get straight into our topic today. What is the zero position effect and 5 ways we can apply it in our daily lives? The term zero position effect was first discovered by a German psychologist called Hermann Ebbinghaus. It describes how our ability to recall each of the items on a list is affected by their position. It suggests that we tend to remember the first and the last items on a list better than those in the middle. For example, your school teacher gave you a list of 5 vocabularies to study for your spelling test. The list contains 5 words arranged in the following order: apple, banana, cherry, pineapple, and grape. However, you completely forgot to study for the test and you only managed to take one last glance before doing the test. So which of the words you are most likely to remember? The zero position effect suggests that it will be the first and the last word on the list, apple and grape. You might be thinking, what's so big of a deal about the zero position effect? Keep watching and we're going to show you 5 ways how powerful this effect can be when you apply it correctly in your daily lives. To fully understand how the zero position effect works, we need to first understand what are the primacy and recency effects. Primacy effects suggest that we are more likely to remember items at the beginning of a list or things that are presented to us first. On the other hand, the recency effect suggests that we can record items better when those items are at the end of a list or are presented to us more recently. In 1962, a psychologist called Bennett Murdoch conducted a study by giving a list of words for a group of participants to memorize. The result of the study showed that no matter how long the list of words were, the participants recalled the words at the front and end of the list much better than those in the middle. Murdoch further concluded that the items that are first presented to us tend to be stored in our long-term memory, while the last items are usually stored in our short-term memory. In 1966, 2 other researchers called Glanzer and Kunitz conducted a study on the zero position effect. Glanzer and Kunitz gave a list of words for 240 men to memorize. Similarly, the findings show that the tendency of the participants to recall the words at the beginning and end of the list is higher than the middle. But Glanzer and Kunitz didn't just stop there. They went one step further by splitting the 240 men into 2 groups, the control group and the experiment group. All the procedures were exactly the same with the first experiment, except that the experiment group was then given a 30-second random task after they memorized the words. The 30-second task was actually a distraction task meant to distract them and disrupt their short-term memory before letting them recall the list of words given to them. As expected, both groups' results supported the zero position effect. However, there's one difference. The control group was able to remember both the words in the beginning and the end equally, but the distracted group were only able to remember the words in the beginning of the list well, but not so much on the words at the end of the list. They still recall the words at the end of the list better than the middle, but unlike the control group, their recalling ability of the words at the end was not as good as for the ones in the beginning. Hence, the study by Glanzer and Kunitz also supported Murdoch's finding that items that are presented to us first are more likely to be stored in the long-term memory, whereas those presented at the end are mostly stored in the short-term memory, which explains why, when given a distraction task, the experiment group lost the last few words in the list. Now that we've understood how the zero position effect works, let's go into the 5 ways on how we could apply this effect in our daily lives. Number 1. Negotiation. When it comes to negotiation, we believe the term anchoring effect is no stranger to you. The anchoring effect is actually a great example of the primacy effect, as it suggests that humans tend to rely heavily on the first piece of information presented to them when making subsequent judgments. For example, someone introduced a range of skincare products to you, and each of the products cost $100. You're not anchored to the impression that skincare products should cost $100. And whether the price is reasonable or not, you would not think that buying a $100 skincare product is normal. If you come across a new product that costs $200, you think that that's way too expensive. On the contrary, if someone introduces a skincare product to you that costs $80, you would think that it's a good deal. Same goes for the negotiation process. Most of the time, whoever drops the anchor first has a better chance of dominating the whole negotiation process. Number 2, marketing. The zero position effect is incredibly useful when it comes to marketing and advertising. To increase the conversion rate, most merchants would place the most important piece of information at the beginning of their landing page and end it with a call to action to prompt the visitors into taking immediate action. However, if the visitors take longer to decide, the first piece of information will still stick in their long-term memory, which will still potentially turn them into buyers. Number 3, presentation. Regardless of what kind of presentations, be it a speech, a project presentation, or even if you're teaching in a classroom, applying the zero position effect can significantly up your presentation game. Always start with the most important and intriguing piece of information and end it with a boom. Even in classrooms, applying the zero position effect can have a significant implication on the students' recalling ability. Teachers can start the class by teaching the more important lessons first and end it with a summary. Number 4, learning techniques. If you're the kind of person who keeps your own notes, try shuffling the points every time you go through them so that you can remember all the points instead of just the first and the last few items. Number 5, first impression. To illustrate this example, let's go through an experiment conducted by Solomon Asch in 1946. Asch gave a group of participants 2 lists of traits that describe 2 persons. The 2 lists are arranged as such: A. Intelligent, industrious, impulsive, critical, stubborn, and envious. B. Envious, stubborn, critical, impulsive, industrious, and intelligent. The first list was arranged starting from the most positive traits, followed by the less ideal and negative traits, while the second list was arranged in the opposite way. Even though both lists are the same, when asked to rate the 2 persons described by the list of traits, the first person was rated more favorably compared to the other. The result of the experiment suggests that the first impression has a significant implication on how we perceive someone rather than the subsequent impressions. It may not be true in all cases, but one thing for sure is that most of the time, the first impression decides what kind of relationship we want to have with the other person. For example, you decided to go on a date with this guy whom you have just met on a dating app. During the date, he showed up 30 minutes late without giving you a call. Not only that, he came in with wrinkly clothes and messy hair. Would you want to go on a second date with this guy after your first date with him? Or would you think that you're better off being acquaintances? Another example, say you are recruiting for your company and a candidate showed up wearing a tank top, short pants, and flip-flops, versus another candidate who showed up wearing a suit to the interview. Who are you more likely to hire? Yes, we should never judge anyone based on their outward appearance. And indeed, as we get to know someone on a deeper level, their first impression may not matter that much anymore. However, it's undeniable that the first impression is really important, as it can be the key to opening or shutting doors to new relationships. Now that we have covered the definition of the serial position effect and how we can apply it in our daily lives, do check out this playlist of our videos that cover other topics related to psychology. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on all these value-packed videos on psychology, leadership, relationships, and so much more. See you in the next video. Bye!